Okay, I was in the call.
Oh,
Right.
fixed. Got it. Let's go. I
Is
think we're
it?
good
Can you
now.
hear us? I have no idea
I
because the
think
people have
so.
to.
You should be able to hear us.
Hassan, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Um.
Can you see on the phone? Can
Um.
Can you check on your phone?
I'm not.
Wait, I'll try.
Oh, they can hear us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Can hear now.
Right. So I'm gonna do the intro again.
All right.
Apologies for that. People, some technical issues.
I'll play
Right.
the intro. Everyone pretend like nothing happened. Let's go. Intro is
You're gonna
playing.
play the intro.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Let's do that.
You're gonna turn on your camera, right, Doris?
Hola Madridistas, sorry for this happening. Tonight, you can go back to hosting now. I'm sorry.
R- Right. Apologies for that, people. Hola, Madridistas. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Um, I was apologizing to the people in the chat, but before I could even finish my apology, you know, our audio kind of messed up. But it was completely unexpected. We didn't see this coming. So yeah, people. But we are finally here. Mm, a very entertaining game, to be honest. Wasn't perfect. I didn't expect perfection from Carlo this season, but boy, oh boy, we are putting up a spectacle, especially with that diamond, which I didn't have any hopes of. After that preseason showing where it was a very mixed bag. Now I think we have some sort of a direction in which I think this formation is going to take us. Um, the Powerhouse Stadium was never going to be an easy place to go. It looks like it's one of those unique names, that's going to go down in La Liga folklore forever because it's super unique. Like a powerhouse being in the name itself, is a pun. But our team went there with the sole intention of capitalizing on Barcelona's draw against Getafe, at the Coliseum, and we took advantage. It didn't really go according to plan. It could have started off better. We could have controlled the game better. We can nitpick. The football purists among us, like Farouk, they surely does nitpick, every now and then. But me, I've always been vocal about my, thoughts about how I view the game. If we get the job done on a particular night, we are good, man. This is the creme de la creme. A top level football has such low margins for error. If you manage to see your team over the line, I think it's job done. I think it's a reason to celebrate, especially early in the season where we are still, shaking off some of the rust and slowly, getting into some rhythm. But please welcome my esteemed co-host Doris. How's it going, bro? I hope the vibes are good.
Yeah. I my apologies. First, I fell asleep before the game, and yeah, this is the reason why it happened. But I managed to watch like the last 10 minutes or so of the game, um, and just from the 10 minutes, we looked all right. I wish I could have watched the game, but you're gonna tell me more about it. But looking at the highlights and the course of the game, it was us that was losing in the first half, which is just typical, for everything that we do each week, man. Just same old things. But and against Almeria, against no one else, right? So yeah,
We start slow. It's a
yeah.
trend.
Every time we
E-
start really slow, and
Even
it's just it's just not enough. But
even last week, against Bilbao, we started very slow.
yeah, but I think we start. every game slow, and the games that we start really good, something happens to us, uh, and yeah, that that happens to us just every time. And this
Completely,
game,
completely agree with you. Yeah.
nah, I think this game, even though I didn't watch the first half, was probably no different, and I can just imagine it happening, in my head right now. But yeah, for the
Mm.
first goal that I saw, it was already telling you the story and what we're probably gonna see a lot this season.
Transition. I mean, let's let's go back to last season. I heard the commentary mentioning that we never conceded a goal in transition last year. It was super surprising because we conceded a lot many goals. We weren't really tight at the back last year, so I didn't expect us to have that kind of a stat labeled on us. But yeah, like 2 games into the season, we have already conceded one, and we got to talk about the goal. It wasn't an easy goal to digest, to be honest. Great transition from Almeria. Um, we were just caught lacking. Um, Multiple people down the right. Carvajal has been, constant. Um, no show for defending for quite a while, especially in games in La Liga where the stakes are a little bit lower. He rises up during the Champions League games, like we all know he does. But again, for the first goal, he was caught up high up the pitch. I understand the formation is basically tailored for our wing backs to be super high up the pitch and yeah, pin the opposition wing backs and wingers, in their own halves. I get the idea, but Carvajal doesn't have the legs like Fran does to get up and down the pitch anymore. We'll get to Fran. I wasn't happy with him either. But to talk about the first goal, Danny Carvajal was nowhere in the picture. The guy who was in the picture, Fede Valverde, should have put in much more of an effort to, um, attempt to even block the cross coming in. But he just half-heartedly attempted to do so. The cross was pretty good from, I guess it was from Mbaba. And yeah, Rudiger nowhere in the picture, completely out of position. Um, and Tony Cruz, basically jogging. You know, if you see an extended replay, you could see while Mbaba is breaking down the left, Tony Cruz and Sergio Arribas is basically neck and neck in terms of where they're positioned on the pitch. Tony Cruz obviously retreating towards our own goal, and Arribas, attempting to break through. They were neck and neck, and then you notice once the cross is almost about to be completed, Tony Cruz just gives up. I get he is not 25, 26 anymore. I get that he is in his uh, twilight and whatnot. We can't expect him to have that kind of legs, but still, man, like when we are playing a diamond, it clearly shows. This formation requires midfielders with incredible athleticism to to really pull it off, and Tony Cruz couldn't. And Arribas, even though it was a good header, nice timing on it, I still think Loden should have done better. I can't guarantee people that Thibaut is going to 100% save it, but yeah, for me, Loden should have done a bit better. Doris, what did you think about Loden's attempt to save? If you remember from the
Yeah,
highlight.
I do. Well, first of all, the goal should not have happened, obviously. And for Cruz, just jogging, that was atrocious from him. And he saw it himself as soon as it happened. His head was down, and as it should, because that was just a horrible defensive play from him. And he really let his man run in front of him to do that. He had his distance on him and still
And
allowed him
that to
to
Arribas, who is not that tall at all.
yeah, exactly, against Cruz, who kind of is, and that is Cruz. Like, we shouldn't be expecting him to be really good in the defense, but there are some expectations, from Ancelotti for him, and I don't know. I just hate that he's in that position because it's given us heart attacks for a good reason, every week.
Mm,
But as for
yeah,
Lunin, I really don't want to put the goal on him.
yeah.
Um, it is a tough goal to save, especially because the ball is coming from one side to the other, going the other way. You have to close a lot of space. When you do that, especially for aerials because they're so unpredictable. At least when you're shooting, your foot moves into a direction where it's gonna go. When someone is heading, it could go anywhere. So I always try not to put too much on aerials, but for this entire thing, I would much rather blame Tony than either Valverde or Lunin.
The thing with Lunin is, see, I get it that goalkeepers they don't have much leeway for an error because they have to anticipate an action much more quicker and like at least a couple more steps before an outfield player has to. So I would give him that leeway, but I've noticed every single time that Lunin concedes a goal, in my humble opinion, goalkeepers has to at least look good in a replay attempting to save a shot. Whenever I watch Lunin concede a goal, he looks out of sorts. He can at least make himself presentable for the slow mo replay to at least convince some of the guys that he had much better anticipation than what seems from a replay. But yeah, like I wasn't very convinced about his attempt, but it is what it is. Like you said, you can't entirely blame it on him. We have a few comments. Hassan says, Chouameni silent masterclass. We're going to talk about Chouameni, like, again, someone who doesn't really steal the show, but what he does is, very incremental to, how we progress the ball, win back possession. He has been slowly, going about his business. Das Saliba says, I still have doubts in this diamond formation. Ideally, we need a tall, strong striker for this to work. Vinny and Rodrigo seems lost. It is because they can't or they are unfamiliar. Yeah, a tall, strong striker is good, right? But in my opinion, like that's the profile for Joselu, right? We all know he's not prolific, but that's the profile. In my opinion, at least from what I think of how this formation would work better is if someone in the ilk of Benzema. I know it's a hard ask, yeah. Like there aren't many strikers like Benzema. Like let's say someone like Harry Kane would work much better because in this formation, in my opinion, the striker has to be super adept, well adept with his feet, has to have great link up play. Um, Apart from his obvious goal scoring instinct. So just a tall, lanky striker, I don't think will cut it. Tasaliba says, is it possible for Doris to up the volume of her mic? Even last episode, people were complaining, Doris, that your mic was
Really,
super low.
I tried
Uh,
to put a filter just as you were saying. I saw the comment. Maybe it's better now. I can up the gain a bit more. And guys, whenever you hear any audio or anything, please let us know so we can fix it. Don't let it run for too long if you hear it. I'll
100%. You
yeah, I'll add it up. Just tell me if it's better now or if I need to put some more.
I think it's a bit better, at least from my perspective. I don't know how it will be, for the people listening in. But yeah, let her know, guys. Hassan says every Madridista on the planet called Arribas scoring. Well, apparently, so many of us, especially among let's be real podcast, even people didn't believe in Arribas. They just thought Arribas didn't have enough to cut it in among the big boys. Well, I told them, he's gonna make it big. No matter where he plays, he's gonna have a considerable say in which manner a match is gonna go. Um, I wouldn't say he is the next coming of fucking Zico, but Arribas is truly a unique talent, and Yeah, guys like him, goal scoring midfielders. I have a thing for nostalgia. Like people know if they watch the show regularly, I have a thing for nostalgia, and goal scoring midfielders are tale of the past. And guys like Arribas, guys like Jude Bellingham is what the game needs. Runs from deep is so lethal. I don't know why people don't, cry about it enough. They just cry about, the sport losing individuality. In my opinion, it loses individuality because guys like Jude, guys like Arribas doesn't get enough of recognition. What they do, I think, is really really great. And we're gonna talk about Jude to kick things off, 100%. Hassan says if Kepa was in goal tonight, we would have conceded those long range attempts because of his T-Rex arms. I need Lunin to start again against Celta. Hassan, I don't know. Kepa. I have memed Kepa so much in life that I've completely given up on the man. I had completely given up on the man like a couple of years ago, but the way he has kind of reignited his career at Chelsea, it goes to show that there is a goalkeeper in him when he's confident and actually believes in his ability. If you notice, Lunin, there was a long shot. I don't know who it was from. He saved a couple of good long shots, from Baba and stuff. Like he was good. But there was a long attempt from someone where he attempts to save the shot and it goes out for a corner. That can't happen. Honestly, that can't happen. Like, what if Almeria actually scored from the corner? It would have been atrocious, and we would be, basically hanging him out to dry now. Um, so Lunin is by no means perfect. So is Kepa. I think neither of them really gives me any confidence, going into the season. I was telling the boys in the chat that we really like it was before the game, obviously. Now I'm a bit more relaxed about our attacking situation, but without a clear side of or a source, a clear, out and out source of goals, and also our defense looking always shaky like it has always been, and our goalkeeping situation not being 100% ideal. I don't know how this season is going to pan out, man. This is still early season, early days. We're still, taking baby steps to adjust to this formation, watching, even adjusting to watching this formation unfold. Um, I think we are in for either a very good season or a very, very shocking season. I'll be honest. There's not going to be any middle ground. With teams like us, there's never going to be any middle ground. Um, Tasaliba
I mean,
says,
but you have to
yeah,
be positive, like for at least one season, After that, it's a different story. If we keep sucking, it's a different story. But for this season, I'm actually like really excited. Even if we suck, even if it
mm,
doesn't work out, I think it's exciting. Something finally exciting and different happening here.
mm.
Mostly it's the same things every season, with like slight changes, and like, but this is pretty drastic, playing without a nine, playing with with Vinicius as like your main focal point. Even he was last season too, but not having Benzema now, not having Thibaut, not having our best defender, having Jude playing as a striker, scoring 2 goals, like things are gonna be interesting this season. And even if we're not, the winners of La Liga or the Champions League or any of that, it's still interesting, And I'm actually really positive about this season. I don't understand why people are so negative about it. It's one thing for the team, and one thing, for the general excitement of people. I see everyone just being just straight up depressed. If you read the
Well,
comments.
no, I know, I agree that it's kind of lukewarm, the response for the season. It's mainly brought down with how we basically thought Mbappe is going to come and solve our issues and whatnot. And also, it is with a clear lack of direction. Like we have never accustomed to playing a 4-4-2. or a diamond. In fact, without recognized strikers like we had, Cristiano and Benzema. So, and this is Real Madrid, right? And Madridistas have every right in the world to expect an above, not even average. I'm talking an above excellent season, because that's what the standards are, man. Like, we can't just ask Carlo and the team to basically, take the foot of the gas and hope for the best. That's not how we operate. Arsenal can operate like that. That's how they dealt with Mikel Arteta for like 4 years. But unfortunately, we can't afford to do that. Um,
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But
right. Mm,
exactly the reason why it's so exciting, and exactly the reason why I'm so happy that as a kid I didn't choose Arsenal or someone like that, so that I have to go through that every season. I actually like the stability that we had. You knew what you would get from your team. This season we have no idea, and I like the suspense, I guess. But we'll see. It's just the first season. It's gonna be exciting
mm,
for this. After this, if it keeps going like this, I'll join in the the crying and whining. In the on the internet, but not right now. Not right now. It's only the second
100%,
game of the
100%.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, super early. Ta Saliba says Lunin seems a bit shaky, which is understandable given the position he's playing in for Real, especially coming in for Thibaut. Maybe some games and his confidence will go up, but can we risk it? That's the thing, Ta Saliba. If you actually watched our fan cams from the Bernabeu that was released, I think a couple of days ago on Thursday, people were saying, like, we understand that Lunin is good. Yeah, like he in an ideal world, um, if we looked at it a little more ethically, like he has waited in the shadows for a realistic opportunity for so long, so he deserves it. But the thing is, you have seen time and time again when Lunin's confidence is shot, it is a long way back from there, and it can cost us games, and especially when we are competing against someone like Barcelona, who has now have the street smartness to actually see out games like they did last year. It's going to be peak. So that's why I think I'm a little more reserved about Lonin, continuing. But even the commentary were saying what I think is going to happen, that if Lonin makes a significant mistake, leading up to us dropping points, that'll be it for Lonin, unfortunately, because Kepa is much more established. Has had top flight experience for quite longer, so it only makes sense, man. I don't know because
Not
Carlo
only
has some. Hmm,
Yes, right. Like not only like quite longer by the age that Lunin is right now. It was the
yeah.
first season for Kepa in Chelsea where he won the Europa League.
Mm,
As the
mm,
main as their main goalkeeper, and that's a big deal. The season before that and the season before that, he was a starter at Bilbao. You know, he had a really, really good career for such a young goalkeeper. He sort of gets overlooked because of the thing that happened, and people kind of forgot about it. He didn't have a great relationship with the managers, the fans. After that, in the 2 seasons after that moment, he only played 14 games a season. That's a huge drop off from being a consistent starter for years for top clubs. Like Bilbao is also a top club, and he was only like 21, 22, then 23 when he moved to Chelsea, which is just crazy. People don't talk about it enough. 23, and everyone talks about Donnarumma and other younger goalkeepers, but I'm happy that at least he gets some redemption out of it. We'll see what happens, and even with the worst season Chelsea has had in a while, I don't know their history in general, or if it's has ever happened, But it was the best season Kepa has had in the top flight, which is a really
Last season, yeah.
interesting stat, He had
Mm.
78% save conversion, which is a really good stat. It usually goes around the 70 mark for goalkeepers and a bit over for top goalkeepers. So it says a lot, when he had so much to do, for Chelsea last season. You also have to
Mm.
take into account how many shots, opponents have taken against you.
And he managed to basically, push a fan favorite out of the team. Edward Mendy was super
Exactly.
liked among the fans, and Kepa had to prove himself and whatnot. But we'll talk about Kepa in detail. Let's get back to the business at hand. Right. Dennis, we're going to talk about Fran. I I think we are going to have some disagreements because I didn't think he was anything special. Right. Where do we start? Our first goal. I thought it was offside for a second. Then the other minute, I thought it was a clear handball. Even the celebrations were kind of muted from Jude, from everyone, rushing up to him, thinking that it might be ruled off one way or the other. But again and again, this man, I have no idea. This man seems to really turn up at the right place, right time, every single fucking time. I have no idea how he does that. I have no idea how he has that predatory instincts, especially in front of goal. Uh, I knew that he was more suited to an attacking role, but the more I read about and watch his Dortmund stint, he never really was an out-and-out cam or the guy who played behind the striker. Like he has played cam on numerous occasions, but it wasn't somewhere he was consistently deployed. He was played much deeper as an attacking eight. Um, so I was very curious to see like how we would handle Jude being especially playing right behind our two focal points in Rodrigo and Vini. And now I have a clear understanding of why Carlo sticks with the 4-4-2 or the 4-4-2 diamond, even though like it's for everyone to see that both Rodrigo and Vini aren't exactly the guys to play down the middle. I think this formation is catered towards Jude, and he knows, like like how he completely transformed Kaká into the Ballon d'Or winner that we know him by right now. I think Jude is his trump card. Especially he would have known that Mbappe wasn't a realistic option this summer. Like I think he, Davide, Francisco Mori, the whole coaching staff had to pull out something unique to really push this squad's envelope a little bit further. And I think this was the magic trick, man, and it is paying dividends. I can't lie, because every time Jude is in and around the box, you expect him to shoot, and he'll be on target. It's not like he's fluffing shots. People like Farouk will come on here and say, "Oh, you know what? We paid 100 million for him. It's expected." I don't get that idiocy. Honestly, I love Farouk the man, but when he says stuff like that, it basically makes no sense. He just expects a 19-year-old to be fucking, Roberto Baggio. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. A guy like him to come from Birmingham, he played for Birmingham City. He didn't play for Liverpool. He didn't play for Arsenal, Man City, United. He didn't play for any of the big dogs, right? He played for Birmingham City, went to Dortmund, where people like Bellingham, upcoming talents, are given a fair shot. So he didn't really have to break any molds to really impress Dortmund into giving him a chance, but he became their youngest captain ever. How do you put that as being normal? So this man was destined for greatness from a very young age, from the very get go. I reckon, because yeah, man, I'm super impressed with his synergy with everyone. Be it with Fran, be it with Rodrigo, be it with Cruz, be it with Vinny. Like this man can link up with everyone and just looks at ease. He doesn't break a sweat. I feel like it's mad, honestly. When people say that when people remark that, it almost seems like Jude has been playing with Madrid for like a good 3-5 years. Like I get it, it's hyperbole, but when you deep it, when you watch him in action, he feels effortless, man. Like he doesn't seem to have an issue with anyone, with understanding, with how to anticipate how our plays turn out. It's just picture fucking perfect. And I told these guys on this very panel, the very people who really thought that, oh, paying 100 million, paying 80 plus million for an unproven midfielder, what is he going to bring? I told them, we have Fede, oh, we have Chouameni, we have Kamavinga, why do we need Bellingham? Well, there you fucking go. Guaranteed goals from midfield is so underrated. People don't understand it. I have no idea why. I don't understand it, because maybe they thought that like he might not really gel well with our system. He'll have too much competition that with Englishmen, they're very cautious to really credit people when it's due. So they thought maybe he might not be a success, and there you go, man. Jude is proving it, day in day out, that this man was born to wear our camiseta, and yeah, man, I'm super super proud that he's finally fulfilling his dream. Right. A few of the comments. Let's look at some of the comments. Lola Lol was saying, Pep said that about Foden. One of the things he admires the most about him, if he misplaces a pass or a shot, he forgets it very quickly and plays his game. Yeah, I think Jude also does that to a great extent, because like not everything he does comes off. But I don't know, man. He has this ability to pull off shit that, honestly, like I just sit and wonder how does he do it? Because he's a tall man. He's a tall guy. He's not your Messi-esque, Brahim Diaz kind of physique to be really nifty. But for a guy that lanky, again, the Zidane comparisons are well and truly true. Lol says he used to play this role in Birmingham and was doing the same. He's just generational. Yeah, I know he used to play this kind of a role, but I don't think it was this consistent. Well, it's only 2 games into the season, but he wasn't really an out-and-out cam, Raul, if I'm not mistaken, man. Yuri says, I'm so excited to see Arda Güler linking up with Jordan Vinny. It's going to be magic. I'm not going to lie. Arda Güler with these guys, especially, it's going to aid our, 4-4-2 diamond with a little more spice. Fede was exceptional. Yeah, Fede was exceptional, but Arda Güler is going to be a much more indirect, cutting inside on his left kind of player than Fede, who, likes to provide guaranteed.
I was excited the most to see him play, this season. I'm sure like a lot of the fans weren't really familiar with his game, and for Jude also, like not many of us watch Bundesliga, and not many of us had the chance to watch either of them, consistently at least. I've never seen Arda before this, right? So I was really excited, especially looking at all the preseason videos and everyone, hyping him up in training and all that. I was like, okay, we got, something cooking here. And before it even, started cooking, yeah, we ran out of gas with him, and he got a really bad injury. And I say bad because he was so unneeded, for a young player to lose so much time, especially missing the start of the season when you're still figuring things out. He will, if he comes back in a few months, or I'm not sure when it was said that he will come back exactly, but he will come back when we already have, gone through the period of, making sure everyone fits and all that. We're still, playing our game, knowing that we have a player that we need to put in, there. And I just feel like even though we have so much depth in the midfield, until we get a player like Arda, it will be on the coach's mind. I'm pretty sure about that. It'll be a big
Right.
deal for them.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, don't you worry about Arda Güler. Like, I understand your reservations. Especially, it's true that the betting in phase is going to be over by the time he's back, but he'll be back during a very specific time in a specific period in the season where we would look towards something fresh, and he's going to provide exactly that. So don't go anywhere. Arda Güler is going to really be a success this season. I completely
I hope
believe that.
so. I hope so. I hope so. He
Right.
looked so good, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking good, but it's a huge step up. Like not everyone is Jude.
Giant,
Like
yeah.
Farouk might be true in Arda Güler's case, but Jude is the exception. Hassan says 3 goals in 2 games. Perez signed a generational midfielder and Benzema's replacement, all in one for 100 million. Right, that's the thing that I'm most surprised about. During the watch along, people like Hassan were here. Like I had mentioned, yes, when people crosses in the ball to basically no man's land, I used to tell them, yes, Jude being that tall, Jude being very well rounded is a good target. Good target for deep crosses. But the way he kind of runs in between two defenders and bodies that finish, it
Last
seems like he'll be
game
doing that
also.
all day.
Last game, if who was it? If the player didn't defend it well, it was going to Jordan. It feels like they are training a lot with him for set pieces and aerials. You can see like uh, take a look at Jude for like corners and stuff. He's the one actually with a plan of doing something, and for the corners of last game against Bilbao, Jude, if you remember, he was running on the left side of the goal, right? The far side of the goal from the corner, and it was exactly what we saw tonight, and exactly what we're probably gonna be seeing. And it's not really the kind of goal that Benzema would score, because you need speed and height and everything, to get to it. And Benzema was more of a placer, of the goal of the ball, where Jude, with the height that he has, the last game, if it was this close for him, he was seeing that goal at the back of the net already, and I see it like. It's a shame that I didn't get to watch the entire game, but for the games that Jude has been playing for us, I've been, really impressed with him, attacking wise. But having him as a replacement for Karim is a horrible idea, in my opinion. It's just
It's
atrocious
it's not
idea.
it's never going to be a one is to one replacement, man. That's not the idea, but
No,
it
I'm
is
I'm
basically
saying it
yeah.
like it's waste of potential, waste of his time on the pitch for the 90 minutes, going for the wrong things. Um, if you have
I don't know, because that'll be
like
our
if
go-to solution, Doris, this season.
if you
Wake
have
up.
a midfield of
I hope you wake up
Camavinga
soon.
and Chouameni, which are supposed to be like really good defensive midfielders and all that. You can talk about either of them being either of that, but yeah, you get Jude, and then you have oh, sorry, my microphone went out. And then you have Vinicius and Rodrigo, who is not a right winger. He's not even a right side, the central forward. None of that. We downgraded. How can you not say that we downgraded from that? Like, not that you said it that way, but Jude cannot be our. Nah.
Before you go on, tell me
The,
what's the other solution? Who,
I was
who are you
just
going to
tell,
play as the focal point? Can you
yeah.
tell me that?
I was
You
just
can't.
gonna I was just gonna ask if you're saying that this like for the future? Because I feel like you were saying this for the future that it is a viable
At least
option.
for this season. At least for
For
this season, you can't rely
for
on.
this season, yeah, yeah, definitely 1000%. But we were talking that we signed a
But
Benzema replacement,
you should
and I think
also.
disagree
You
with
should
that.
also. No, I understand that. Like, obviously, that's hyperbole, but you should also understand that nobody expected Jude to play kind of like a false nine or like a cam right behind
Mm.
our front two and be this prolific,
Mm-hmm.
scoring 3 goals in 2 games, right? And also providing an assist. So basically, four G plus A in 2 games.
I
It's
think we
pretty
misunderstood what we were trying to say. I think we're all saying, the right thing, just the wrong subject about it. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, I wasn't talking about this season. I thought you were talking about, the
But
future
nobody expected,
for
not
him.
me, not you,
No,
nobody
no, no, I
expected
didn't.
him to get 4G plus A
No,
in two
but
games.
that is that's what makes a star player. There's players that have talent, and there's players with hard work and all that. You know the story, but you need to be a certain kind of person to feel, the Bernabeu or all of these stadiums, even in Germany, and feel like I deserve this. And I feel like Jude
100%.
is there, like actually playing for that. He actually feels, the camiseta on his chest,
It takes huge personality. I'm telling
Mhm.
you, it takes huge personality because I've seen players wear our camiseta and basically crumble, like they don't have enough minerals in them to actually pull it off. But Jude seems to have a knack, man. I'm just like I know this is honeymoon period. Yeah, this is the honeymoon period for Jude and us. Um, it's too early, but I'm just gonna enjoy this honestly. Like I'm not gonna say that he's gonna win the Ballon d'Or. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna completely back him and completely embrace the fact that he has taken this crest, this kit, this team, Carlos instructions like duck to water. It's so easy for him. Well, let's just get into a few comments quickly. Frederick says, after Modric, Cruz's generation, the future looks really good and in good hands. Bellingham, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Valverde, etc. 100%. Coming from a Barcelona fan, it's great praise, Frederick. Big up yourself. Ashik says, let's not get too excited, but just enjoy the moment. Long season and forms will rise and drop. We just need to make the best out of the situation when tide is in our favor. 100%. People who watch in regularly, they know what I move like. If on a particular day the performance was not so good, but the victory was bagged, I would come and sing praises over here. And it's the opposite if we have a bad day. So I'm gonna just take it day by day, like we always do. I don't get ahead of myself. Um, Especially considering we are only in fucking August. Frederick says, I think the recent years Real Madrid have been smart with their transfer strategies, player development strategies, and in general, using young players over buying expensive older players. Tas Saliba says, Rodrigo has 3.3 score out of 10, Fran -4, Alaba at 4.4, Jude a 9.9. Fran a -4 is too harsh. But yeah, man, Dennis, I don't know, man. Fan was bang average for me. His decision making really, really needs to improve. He just really doesn't know when to pass off the ball, when to go, when to stay. Like I've been mentioning, like in preseason as well, his synergy with Vinicius needs to be so much more better. I understand that, since Vinicius is playing narrow, the onus is on him pretty much most of the time to do, the two-way job. But I expect a lot more from Fran. And it's only right to do so because I understand he's only like what 23, 24 something. He's still learning his trade. He's not exactly established, but he has some experience in La Liga. Let's be honest. Frederick says, and in Barca, we have been doing the opposite, to be honest, especially under Bartomeu, who bought expensive players instead of focusing on the young players. But thankfully, we have good young players now. Yeah, you guys have kind of turned the tide. Good for you, I guess. Ricardo says it was a good game. The formation sucks, though. Hardly see Vinny and Rodrigo in the game. At some point, this so-called diamond is gonna start cracking on us. I 100% agree. I have my reservations of the diamond. I was telling the boys in the chat as well, in the group chat as well, that it's only a matter of time before our attack gets found out. Like, let's put this into perspective, Doris. Yeah, if we come up against top opposition, now they know what to basically nullify in this setup. Nullify Jude Bellingham's deep late runs from midfield. We have basically no other option to score goals apart from hoping that Rodrigo or Vinny does some magic. Is it true? Do you agree with that sentiment?
1000%. 1000%. And that's exactly what I meant before, that we cannot go on with Bellingham. That's a huge hole, that we're so used to playing, with another player there, and the only, I think, like, the only reason Vinicius was even allowed to unlock, I think, was because he had someone to play with. He wasn't the one, having to be in the box. He was the one running into the box, passing a quick ball to someone, to or Karim, mostly, to get us the goal. He had over 20 assists both seasons, and that's what he's known for. That's what he should be. Like, I don't think that he needs to be the top goal scorer or something in the future and history of Real. I don't think that, like, at all. What he did last season and the season before, I believe that he would have been better still doing that, even if it was with a worse striker. And then we have Joselu there. Are you really gonna play him? Like, do you trust him enough to play him week in and week out, just so that Vinicius can play it, as his older self? Or are you gonna use Rodrigo and Vinicius in the attack, and just hope that Bellingham, Camavinga, Modric or Kroos or someone will do the Karim role in the attack, and everything else that they were doing?
There's
before.
nobody who can do the role apart from
Like,
Jude
we
Bellingham.
didn't really gain
Modric
anything
can do
from
it, but
him.
he doesn't have the physicality anymore. He doesn't have the stamina, to do those
We
late
didn't
runs anymore.
actually gain anything. We just lost with this. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It's a
but the
band-aid.
player,
It's a
yeah,
band-aid, Doris.
exactly. But the player that we got is just so damn good, that we can't really complain about it. But if we're gonna be realistic, we lost, like, a huge position in our style of play. I would even call it that.
See, if we had a striker of a similar stature as Joselu, and someone with a bit different of an ilk, like, it would have been possible. Like, let's say Vlahovic. I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but he would really help out Vinicius in a 4-3-3. Like I was saying in the chat with Mo, like, let's be honest, like, Vinicius can't combine with Joselu like he combined with Benzema. So, like, we can think that, yeah, he's being nullified. We are going to nullify him and the team as a whole if we return back to the 4-3-3 and just hope for the best. I think this gives a different kind of headache, at least for the time being, for our opponents. And it looks like, even though it might not be the most aesthetically pleasing formation, I think, especially against teams like City, who are going to overload the midfield, if we set up right, if we are cautious enough, if our wing backs really do the job, if our defenders are really switched on, I think people like Camavinga, the quartet of Camavinga, Bellingham, Chouameni, and who was the other guy? My God. Fede Valverde, obviously my second man of the match. If not for Jude, I think he's my man of the match. those four guys, they have the perfect blend of athleticism and skill to really make our midfield super balanced. People are going to see, especially when we go deeper into the knockout stages, people are going to see how I think Carlo envisions this diamond to be. We won't be impressed, but I think in complete as a complete opposite to how we have set up against teams like City, where we basically concede all possession and hope for the best. I think we'll have a bit more control with the system. I really think so. I don't know what solid evidence there is, because we only have the preseason and a couple of games against, let's be honest, mediocre opposition. But I don't know. It just gives me a feeling that it might be the only trick we have to vouch for any kind of success this season.
Yeah,
Um,
you said that well. It's gonna be one trick that we have. Like
mm,
our OTP this season is gonna be Jude, and we don't really have a choice there, unless we
mm.
do something in the transfer window, which I really doubt. But
There is some
I was
Mbappe
gonna,
rumors leaking. I have no idea how true it is, but
I
I
mean,
don't know.
we'll talk about it if it even ever happens.
Yeah.
If I was the one, being asked, I was just forbid all conversations about that man. No, I cannot stand it. I never liked him, and that's also like a bit off topic, but I hate that we're gonna get probably gonna get one another player that our players might boo or something, our fans might boo or something like that, and that's just gonna spark the same fires in the media that we've had before. So that's one more thing that I hate about it. Just
No
what
other
he's gonna do
signings,
to us. Yeah.
Doris. No,
But
no other
yeah,
signings. Like
uh,
the
I
club
was
is
gonna
basically has
I
gone.
was gonna say for the Vinicius and Joselu and Rodrigo thing, um, playing with Jude, and being kind of like tricky and all that, not playing a nine, like an actual nine, could work, as a dark horse trick or something like that against City, or like really big teams that are set up for us and are set up to have a real Champions League game, or even in the La Liga. Like we're gonna have teams like Barca, and then you're gonna have teams like Getafe, two completely different teams, in some things, like especially the like teams that park the bus against us, and
Mhm.
we like the last two, or I would even say three seasons, since the Liverpool game for Vinicius in 21, you know we finally had, you have Karim. Everyone is looking at him. Someone is gonna cross him. Someone is gonna maybe do something. But you had Vinicius there. You had, strange Valverde there, or Rodrigo or something like that. Now the tricks that we had are supposed to be our main guy, and without our main guy playing with our tricks, like having any tricks. So we just, if it kind of feels like we're, like um how do you say that in English? Like putting things in our eyes, to make us feel better about it. But I actually feel like that's the worst thing in our team by far this season, and I think many people can agree with me on that. It's gonna be a huge
So
loss there.
basically, I didn't really understand what you meant, but I'm hoping that you meant. I'm basically gonna assume that you meant that this is basically a superficial setup that isn't really gonna work. That's
Yeah.
what you mean by right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
we
Well, let
can
me
look
take.
at it like for big teams, but for smaller teams, they've been doing this for a while. It doesn't matter how you
Yeah,
play. You
yeah.
play their
For
game
smaller
because you're
teams,
parking the bus. You're
right?
playing their game, and
If you
it
if you
doesn't
watch the
matter.
preseason, if you watch the preseason game against Barcelona,
Mm.
like how recently Xavi sets up. Like he set up a very deep line, basically, crowding up the box. We couldn't do anything. I couldn't see Bellingham. Bellingham was marked out of the fucking game. Like I basically saw him maybe have like 5, 6 touches
Yeah.
the entire fucking game. So I agree with you. Like if a team like Getafe tries to do their dark arts, our diamond is not gonna really be much
Not a
much of a
chance.
help. But in the Champions League, where the teams are willing to attack, like we saw against Bilbao, they weren't gonna sit up and sit deep and basically park the bus at home, in the San Mames or Almeria, who, although we know they're a mediocre team, they're never really a team that's gonna park the bus. They like to play open, flowing, entertaining football. So both these teams aren't really a good test specifically against what we are trying to discuss about, uh, deep defending teams. But we're going to see that the diamond also has its deficiencies. But I truly believe in the Champions League we might have stumbled upon something that might work, man. I really hope, I really hope, because people are going to count us out. People are going to finally fucking underestimate us, Doris. Without Benzema, people are going to think that they really don't have a really good goal scorer. But I think we can surprise people. I think us being
I think
underestimated,
they're
yeah.
gonna surprise me too. Then we'll see, man. I don't know. I
I have
I've been
hopes. I have hopes.
I've been saying like everyone is
Mm,
so depressed about this season, and I
mm,
hate listening like negative things about it. It's just I don't like the negative feelings it brings. I think it's
mm,
unnecessary, right? But for just
100%.
for that thing, I
Mm.
just cannot get over it. How people are okay, with not having Benzema. But
People are not okay.
oh,
There's no other choice,
I see
Doris.
a lot of people were actually calling it a blessing in disguise because we would never go for players if Karim was here. That's what happened with Kane. That's what happened with my blah, 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 right? And now that it happened, we're not going for anywhere. Just like we predicted on this podcast that was gonna happen. And I think it was actually you that said it.
Mm,
that we're gonna be hopeful about it, and then nothing was gonna happen. And I have a
mm.
feeling like that might be it. I don't know.
No, I get it. I get the Benzema. See, that's how our fans are. That's how our club is. So our club would be, a complete, mirror reflection of our fans. Like, yeah, there'll be certain sections of the fans who obviously would be very cold, and say that Benzema, yeah, he's good riddance, in a sense. But we all know how we stand, and where we stand, with Benzema and without Benzema. Right. A few quick comments before we quickly move on. Right. Saliba was saying, I honestly thought that Jude won't start from the beginning. Thought he would have been implemented slowly in his first season. Boy, that's what I believed as well, man. Like, let's be honest. He's no Gareth Bale, who is 24, who is established, who has had like 3 very good seasons. Like, Jude Bellingham has had like 3 good seasons in the Bundesliga, but he had it from 17 to 19-ish, right? It's different. So I was right with you, bro. I didn't expect it to, be this quick. Hassan was saying the amount of times Fran was offside was frustrating as well. Hassan, I really want to like Fran, and I really want to buy in to the hype that with which he was basically, summoned back into the mix. Initial signs aren't great. Not gonna lie. He has every skill set to excel, apart from the natural height, which I would like in my wing backs. Especially with deep crosses. But I've seen him really put in a shift with regards to defending crosses to the best of his ability. But countless.
Maybe
Mm.
it's just another Vasquez. Maybe it's just that. Not good at this, not good at that, not really special with anything with him.
Let's put some
Spanish.
respect on Vasquez. I'm telling you, Vasquez is 2 times the player,
Oh
three
no,
times
no,
the
no, no,
player.
no, 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 no. Let me explain. I don't mean any accolades or anything that Vasquez has, but we need
Not just
to,
accolades, skill wise, pure skill wise,
skill wise.
the ease at which the
Look,
ease at which Vasquez
skills. That's
beats man. You're having fickle memory, Doris. I
come
beg you should
on.
watch some
I mean,
compilations.
yeah, and that's exactly the problem that we cannot watch compilations of players
I'm
and
just saying, based on my
our
experience of
opinions
watching
on that.
Vasquez.
I mean,
Do you really think that
Vasquez is
I haven't watched
no.
Vasquez throughout his
That's not
career?
what I meant. That's not what
Then,
I meant.
so I'm
I,
just asking
I,
you to refresh your memory, watching some compilations, bro. Honestly,
but that's not what makes a player. If he was really that good, he would be playing for us as a starter. Let's not talk about it like that.
whenever he has been called upon, he has been pretty good. Let's be honest. He has had stinkers, but bro, Vasquez, man, there's no comparison. I don't want to do this. There's no
I
comparison between
wait.
Fran and fucking
Do you,
Garcia.
dude? I said that he could be one day what Lucas Vasquez is to us.
Oh, okay. Right.
What
I
did you
jumped the gun.
misunderstand about that?
My bad, my bad, my bad. I thought you were comparing him
No,
of
no,
being
no,
on the same level, which
no,
I
no.
beg to
Hell
disagree.
no, hell no, hell no.
Right, right, right.
But
Okay, fair, fair,
yeah,
fair.
but I think that he could be that kind of player for us, and being there, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he will be our starter forever, and that he will,
Yeah.
or that he even is the future of this team.
Mm.
But for now, I don't think there's anything particularly bad about him. It's just that we have the kind of season that we're having, and it's not just his position, because all other positions are kind of being questioned right now, and the position
It's a new system. It's a new system.
it's so new that it's so difficult.
It's a diamond
Yeah, it's
where
so
the
difficult
wing
to.
backs have to be picture fucking perfect. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they have to be so
exactly.
perfect
And
because
would you ask
go on.
this of Mendy?
Hmm.
What do you think will happen when Mendy comes back?
Mendy would be not as much of a success in this formation either, because this formation requires really attacking fullbacks, and
And
Mendy's deficiencies.
what would you do then? What would you do then? Would you not play Mendy at all?
Well, I would play Mendy in big games because I at least get a guaranteed resolution to defending part of the wing back role, so I would start Mendy 100%, like what Farouk said. But you should understand, man, like in the diamond, Mendy would still survive. But a guy like Fran, in a diamond, there's only one realistic guy who supports you. It's your fucking LM or LCM for that sense. But in the 4-3-3, you can get support from your wing back. I mean, from your winger or your midfielder. So there's two guys basically looking to cover for you. But in the diamond, you're basically left for your own. So, and especially in his first season, where he's clearly showing, signs of nervousness, it is not going to be easy rowing for, Fran Garcia. It's only expected. It's only expected.
Wing backing
The
is I would say, in my opinion, one of the hardest roles you can play in football. I played that role for a while.
even I did
I
play,
absolutely hated
obviously,
it. I absolutely
obviously
hated it.
immaturely. Right,
Right.
right.
It requires like inhuman amounts of running.
Yeah.
And
Basically requires to have three lungs, simple as.
yeah, and
Mm, mm,
I smoked. It wasn't nice, yeah. It wasn't something I would wish on anyone, but it's also not something I would wish on a 20-year-old kid, to
mm.
have it like his first
He's
time,
not 20, but
no,
yeah, I get your
20s,
point.
like a young kid,
Early 20s, yeah.
yeah,
Mm, mm,
like a young kid, playing in the system, now that
mm,
even our players have no idea what they're doing. It's not like you're going to, I don't know, like Chelsea or something, where they had their own things, like how they're gonna play their wing backs, this, that, la la la, and you knew what you were going into because the players were kind of used to that, kind of, and like the three in the back, all that, la la la. Like at least you knew you were going into that. But now you have Mendy that doesn't play that, and he's been here for years as our starter. You have Garcia that doesn't know what he's doing, and then you have the other side of Carvajal and everyone else that's kind of playing their old game, and it's just like we're missing so much just from not having one player in the attack, just one player. Look what we're doing to ourselves, completely collapsing everything we've been doing for years now, years, decades, I would say. Like, I don't know. This is why I find it exciting because we're obviously talking about it right now, but at the same time, it's so scary, man.
It gives you
Just for one
anxiety. I know,
player,
I know.
yeah, just from one
Yeah,
player, not missing.
I completely understand, where you come from, man. But Fran has to, like he has to really step up. Like there's no other way. There's no hiding place with us. Let's be honest. Lolo
Real
was saying,
Madrid,
yeah, yeah,
you have to. It doesn't matter who you are. You
yeah.
have to
There's
step
no
up,
hiding
step up.
place. Yeah,
And like it's every player's dream to be like a legend for Madrid, and I'm sure like he will
mm,
be giving his best. And we're only
mm.
2 games in, so it's difficult to judge. But most things that will happen, to us this season, I would not blame him or Vinicius particularly. It's just not
But
having the
it is
middle
only
there.
a matter of time before they'll be blamed, bro. Because I'll blame him obviously. Like
I
I
know
can't
you
keep
will.
saying for
I know
six
will. I
months.
know you will.
I can't keep saying for 6 months that he's new. He doesn't know what he's getting into. Blah blah blah. For now, I can understand. That's why I'm not being super critical. I'm just
I mean, for if
waiting.
it's
Mm,
individual mistakes like him, being shit,
mm, mm,
by all means. But
mm.
we really need to take into account, that Vinicius is not doing what he used to. He was never really much of a defender, going back and tracking back and all that. Now you have Fran Garcia that is doing the job that Mendy was bad at and doing the job that Vinicius was bad at. That's my point. You have to
Okay.
look at it. You have to take some responsibility off of him, and just look at the other players in the team that are gonna be, you know, depending on him and him depending on them. He has a much bigger role that Mendy
Mm,
had, for example. Mendy
mm.
had to defend, and here and there just pass the ball to Vinicius, and he'll do something. You know, he wasn't really much of a crosser. He wasn't really, much of anything. He was good at sprinting and defending. And dribbling
I
players in that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. We should actually move on because we have a lot to
Yeah,
cover
sorry.
and we are
Uh,
already an hour 15 minutes in. Guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, don't forget to do so. And yeah, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We're on the road to 2K officially. A few comments, Doris. Lola Law was saying Fran is actually being affected by the formation as well. He's used to playing with a winger, 100%.
that's what I'm
Um,
saying.
yeah, Yuri was saying Joselu is a good player to come on the pitch if we need a goal in the last 10, 15 minutes. Oh, Frederick was saying earlier, in my opinion, Vinny Jr. can win the Ballon d'Or in the future, and it would be great for football, in my opinion, because of his skills on the pitch and also because he is a great ambassador for football, 100%. Big up yourself. Hassan says, I'm just going to keep being delusional and praying that a 9 arrives before deadline day. That's what I'm gonna hope for as well, man. I don't know. I just have this feeling there's gonna be some movement, but the club sources they keep saying that the market is closed. I have no idea. Lolo was saying the crazy thing is Vinny is most likely to get 30 plus goals from the wing than this role while also bringing 20 plus assists. Yeah, man, but we don't have someone to really go back to the 4-3-3. We should be honest with ourselves. Saliba was saying, but by the way, a little off topic. I think we must start looking for a potential centre back replacement for Alaba in the upcoming season. One or two like Antonio Silva, 19 years of age, left-footed from Benfica. I've heard good things about Antonio Silva. I haven't seen much of him personally, but I've heard that he's pretty decent for his age. I don't know. You may have a point. How old is Alaba? He's 32, 33 or something?
I
He
think he's
would be going in.
31. I think he's
He's
31.
31, yeah.
I
He'll be
think.
going into his last year of his contract, I think, next season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But
I think.
by the looks of it, Alaba again looked the better of the two centre backs tonight. Not gonna lie. Rudiger had some nice blocks here and there, some good interceptions, but Alaba, like usual, looked, looked himself, super composed, and that's what I like in my centre back, and I hope he stays for many more years, man. A replacement, I don't know. We have guys like Rafa Marin. I don't know how good he's gonna be. He's out on loan. He's playing in La Liga. Let's see how his trajectory is. I have hopes for him. Let's see. Let's see. A guy like Antonio Silva is gonna cost a lot of bucks. A lot of bucks. Rajat says, hello, Sunaid. Hola. Lolo says, this is basically a tournament setup. Same thing happened in AC Milan. It worked great in tournaments, but burnt out in a league setting. Yeah, that goes to show. Carlos' league record with Milan is atrocious. I guess we all have a point. Rajat says, have lots of weak points with our new formation. 100%. Obviously, man, we can't expect this to be perfect, especially not without, two recognized strikers playing up front. Lolo was saying, and rumors on Spanish Twitter, Escolo is the one coming if Mbappe doesn't, because in Spanish rules, all starting 11 numbers have to be taken. I don't know, I hear Mbappe stuff. I really do hear Mbappe stuff for no reason. Stuff like PSG community coming out yesterday and saying that we are still standing by our sources that, Mbappe is going to actually move and play for Real Madrid before August ends, which means that he's gonna fucking start for us on Friday away at the Balaidos.
But what point is there for PSG? Like, let's look at this from their perspective. They just sold Neymar, and they're supposed to sell Mbappe too. Who are they gonna like? Colo Muani is not enough in the attack for them. Messi isn't there, Mbappe isn't there, Neymar isn't there. Come on, let's be
They're
realistic.
basically trying to get rid of the superstars and vouch for French and upcoming talents. They have Gonzalo Ramos. They have
by all means, but let's.
Kolo Muani, Dembele.
That's basically it. I think that's basically it for them then. But
let's see.
Dembele is an amazing signing. I would still add that for PSG.
Farouk is here. Pick up yourself, Farouk. He says, I kind of disagree. I think we'll survive in the league, but in the deeper part of the Champions League, we ain't moving. This is so unfair to Winnie. I don't understand. I don't understand. Farouk, bro. In the Champions League, towards the later part of the season, I think this formation is going to help us out big time. Big time. Right. We should actually talk about another big performance from tonight. We have given our plaudits to some of the major guys, but Fede, yeah, he had an assist, which stands out. That header back onto Jude was great, but his overall performance, up and down the pitch was incredible. Honestly, I think he has found a role in which he can truly utilize his skill set. I think which is basically playing off pure adrenaline. Having that energy to be 100%. Super tenacious. Like for the whole 90. And yeah, like thoughts on Fede, people. Like I think he had a brilliant game. One of his best games in recent memory, at least for me. For large parts last year, like he used to go missing. He used to be, super lacking, especially when he used to be shunned down the right. But now I think that synergy he has, especially with Bellingham, Chouameni, and it was with Cruz tonight. But that synergy in the diamond, I think it's really helping him make a case for himself this season. I personally thought, like the arrival of Jude Bellingham would completely kind of make Fede uh, a sideshow, but I'm glad to be wrong. He has been exceptional. Even the last game, he was pretty good. Me and Farouk, we were kind of disagreeing that we were kind of agreeing. I mean, disagreeing with Mo, who thought Kamavinga had a much brilliant game. Mo was basically saying that as per the stats, Kamavinga had a much better game. But for us, I don't know, man. For me and Farouk, Fede looked pretty decent, and tonight again, my feelings were vindicated. Fede Valverde was a true powerhouse, at Powerhouse Stadium. Fortunately for us, and that combination for the third goal, which we didn't talk about at all, came from that combination again. Fede to Jude to Winnie, and Winnie basically picking out the top left corner. Doris, you have been. I hope you have been, keeping up with the news that he wasn't even top 10 in the UEFA, rankings or some shit, and people were going up and yeah, for last season.
Saw that. Yeah, he had like both seasons. He had like 40 goals and assists combined, which is every year we hear about players, and the names get repeated a lot, and and then you have Vinicius, and I think there was a post or something where they mentioned everything for the Ballon d'Or season. They mentioned everything he did, and even like last season, what he did for us in the Champions League and in the league. He had I think 23 goals last season, over 20 assists. That's I would say a really solid stat for a winger, and yeah, completely deserved to be in the FIFA top 10 men's players. And I think, and I agree with a lot of people that there is still racism, like just blatant racism in FIFA and everything that they post and do. So it's
It wasn't FIFA, it was UEFA, but
so
yeah, Doris, there was no
same thing,
racism.
same
It's
thing,
just
same thing,
bias.
same thing. There's no
It's just
difference
bias.
between. Yeah,
It's just
I
bias.
agree with
I
you.
don't think it's racism, but like I
Oh,
don't
come
understand, man.
on.
Honestly, I think it's a La Liga shit, man. I think it's just La Liga, man. They don't deserve much credit. No, I think that's what it comes down to, because who in the right mental space would think that Winnie Junior was in top 5 players in the world last year? I've no
Crazy.
fucking clue. Honestly, no fucking clue. Well, that finish and the calmness that exuded after the finish, some people may argue there was a slight deflection, but his attempt was to place it top corner, and he premeditated it. He saw the keeper off the line a bit, and boom, there you go. Um, yeah, man. Like I was feeling a bit low about Winnie, especially after last week. Um, Rodrigo was getting all the spotlight. Jude was getting all the attention. Well, finally he had his account being opened, and we are so accustomed to those kind of finishes from Winnie, aren't we, Doris? Like it's normal now. Doesn't surprise us.
Yeah, I'm not surprised when he scores anymore ever. Now it's a good thing for him that we expect him to score. We expect him to be at least involved in the goals in the game, and this goal was just perfect for what you need, like a little dink over the players, over everyone. Between two players, a little dink, just perfect, and the kind of goal that you could expect both from Rodrigo and Vinicius. So I hope that we see more of that, and it's not the first time that he has attempted it in game.
100%. Yeah, like I like they were like it's literally that meme. Like I used to wish for times like these. There used to be periods in Vinny's career And in my lifetime, definitely that I wish Vinny was somewhere this close to a great finisher. And I'm truly humbled, that my opinions have been proven wrong time and time again, that this man couldn't shoot. Like he's really blossoming into one of the best players of his generation. And yeah, I'm all for it, man. All for it, 100%. Subs, they didn't have much of a role. Luka Modric, he had a neat little nutmeg, which was amazing to see. Uh, like it was so effortless that I don't think even the guy who nutmegged knew that he was nutmegged until after like 10 seconds. He really had to take a bit of a time to let that
I didn't,
sink in. But mm,
I didn't see the moment of that happening. When
I
did
think it
he
was
come on?
five. He came on during the 75th minute or 80th minute somewhere. I can't remember
Oh,
exactly when.
I
Mm.
think I saw it then. Then that's the one. Yeah, it was pretty nice in our own half, right?
Own half, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that. It was nice.
Kamavinga, I wasn't too happy about him, coming on and doing basically the dirty job with bandages on for the last 15 minutes of the game, especially where the game demanded physicality and demanded that extra legs to see out the result. I didn't know why Carlo took that drastic measure. Probably I would have to text our our source inside the club, Francesco Mori. If you're listening in, big up Francesco Mori, who completes 10 years in management. Um, I had congratulated him, personally yesterday. But yeah, man, 10 years in management means he started when he was 24. So, man actually set out doing what he loved from a very young age. So, yeah, man, congratulations to Francesco Mori, who sometimes tunes into the podcast, an assistant to Davide Ancelotti and Carlo himself. Again, it's fucking surreal when I see him on TV, and I have this man on my DMs and in my stories. It's it takes a while for me to really grasp that. But we should really ask him, like, why Kamavinga was bought on that late into a game that required a bit more physicality. Um, Joselu came on, didn't really do anything, had a couple of attempts to head the ball from some semi decent crosses from Carvajal, didn't come to much. Yeah, the subs basically didn't have much to do. Um, let's just get into a few comments, Doris, if you can help me out.
Okay.
Lololol was saying Fede is actually the biggest benefactor to Chouameni. Starting, he is now basically playing a right-sided midfielder free role, 100%. Chouameni, we don't speak about him much, but the less we speak about him, the better. Because a guy like Chouameni, who does his job, does what he does, should be,
Quietly, it should be quiet.
yeah,
Yeah. I
going about his business. That's what Casemiro used to do. Like if we talk about him too much, it means that he was having
Yeah,
a
and
bad game.
everyone was talking about Tony and Luca for his, a huge chunk of his career,
Mm,
and not to compare them or what
mm,
they are, but I think we saw a lot of people talk about Bu- Busquets than we did for Casemiro, even though there were two different kind of players and with different
mm,
styles of playing, but
mm.
i uh, we knew that Casemiro was the quiet, smiling one, and Busquets was the more involved one. And
The more flashy one. But
yeah, the more
let me
flashy.
tell you something, Doris. Like in my very basic knowledge of Barcelona, 100%. Busquets has had much more nightmarish games than Casemiro. Casemiro had a much steadier graph, in my humble opinion. Like he might not have the highest of highs, but yeah, like I'm trying to stress the point what we were agreeing on, that uh, guys like Chouameni, they shouldn't be talked about much. It's better that way. Um,
Definitely.
Hassan was saying, yeah, I was in that PSG community space until 12:30 a.m. Listening to a bunch of French people. I was there too, that I couldn't understand. They even said they've seen official documents of Mbappe's transfer. They are super confident. I'm telling you, and these guys are reputable. They have broken some massive PSG news, over the last year or so. There is a reason why they have, like 500K followers on Twitter. They are no slouches. They have their sources. I have no idea where it's from. We'll have to ask them personally, but PSG community seems like they know what they're doing. They're still adamant that Mbappe will play for us in August. That is what, in 12 days, and the last game of August is on Friday. So I don't understand. Is the world gonna be flipped come Wednesday, Tuesday? I don't know, man. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Look out for a special when it happens. Someone will hop on live if
Obviously,
any time Mbappe comes on. So yeah,
hundred
look
percent, 100%.
look out for that. Yeah.
Yeah. We already did three. So I think we did three. Yeah. So now I think the fourth one would be if he gets over the line. Like we have to make it a point. It should be only after the here we go, at least from
I've been
Fabrizio.
saying that
Uh,
this for 3 years for everyone. Just until he signs, just don't
yeah.
engage. And this is
L-
exactly why it's happening because we allowed it to happen to media and
mm,
hype and all that. But
mm.
yeah, that's a different thing.
We never did an Mbappe special last year, Doris. You remember, right? We didn't touch him. We didn't
Yeah.
touch him.
And
We
it
had to
was
do it this year.
beautiful. We talked about it, how we don't want to, talk about it. And I think we were all
But
really doubtful,
this year
you
we didn't
know.
have a choice, Doris. We didn't have a choice.
We didn't have a choice, yeah. And this year, it really looked like it could happen, you know.
Mm,
And
mm.
if it's not this year, it's probably not gonna happen, you know. And I see him
It'll
like
be next year, 100% on a free.
y- I don't know.
I think that's.
I don't
I don't
think
know
that's a. I don't know.
because he's not
It's
gonna
so
renew.
difficult to predict this, and all we're doing is doing the same things journalists are doing. It's just making shit up, and you can
We are
see
not making shit up. We are not
no,
making
dude,
shit up.
like
Notice
like
this.
from the beginning of this summer or even before this, like you had
Mm,
the Mbappe had a deal with this. He talked with this person. Next week he will know for this. In the next 2 weeks, in the next week and a half, I promise he will. And just shut up, dude. Just shut up. None of those things happen. They never do. That they haven't been happening for years, and everyone still talks about it. I I don't know. I think the players are sick of it too.
mm,
But then you have Rodrigo. He knew what he was doing. Posted a picture with Mbappe, and Mbappe looked super weird in that photo for some reason. But that's a different thing. Then you have Mbappe uh, having those cards with nines on them and stuff like that. Like just like we think that they're playing with us, but I don't know. I think everyone is just starting to lose it, like slowly, little by little. Everyone is just going crazy, and I hate it because there's no future for this club if we keep going like this, you know.
mm.
And we didn't go for him then because of Benzema. Benzema moves away a year after. we we don't go for Kane. We got Benzema. Mbappe is still a PSG player. There's still a way where he can
Mm,
extend. Like that
mm.
is also an option now. I don't think that's even a really bad option for him. Staying at PSG. You never know, man. He could be a one club man, even though he isn't a one
One
club.
club, man. For
Uh,
PSG, nobody's gonna do that to themselves.
with
Let's be honest.
in quotes, but he didn't even play just for one club. That's But I was saying like for the
Yeah.
remainder of his career, yeah.
Mm, mm.
But
He
yeah,
actually scored 13 minutes into his season debut, I think. They drew the game, apparently. They drew 2-2, but Mbappe is back on the score sheet.
tonight.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like a couple hours back, 1 hour back. Lala was saying Vinny last season was easily a top five player. The reason he was snubbed because of the Super League issue. I don't understand, man. The Champions League from next year is basically the Super League. I don't understand. Saliba was saying, by the way, with Jude's celebration with his arms open, he'll quickly receive the hate from the stadiums in Spain. Let him receive the hate, right? He's he is not looking to rile up
He's
people.
literally showing you, come on, with his
Yeah,
with
like
his
it's
hands.
not yeah, it's not him trying to rile up people in a way, but I understand like him cupping his ears is kind of provocative. But honestly, like I would like him to have that bit of a bite. All the great players, they had that edge to them, and I like Jude having that.
He
Honestly,
is playing the
mm,
five, as a five in our team. So he needs to step up with that. And
100%. Yeah.
I didn't watch the full the Barcelona game because I didn't have signal to watch it. But
Hmm.
I saw the fight, that happened, and Bellingham just running, have the pitch just sprinting to get into the fight. And the funniest thing is when he got there, he was just going, Where am I supposed to go now? Where am I supposed to attack now?"
It's
And it was
too many
funny.
guys all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see this
But
man
the
he has
sprint and
personality,
then
man.
stop and they just I don't know. It
Yeah,
was so funny to see it
complete
because the
confusion. I
camera
know.
was following him, like, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? And then absolutely nothing happened. I don't know. I thought it was funny. The media
100%.
was expecting it.
Yeah, the cameraman, the directors, they know, follow him. He might
Yeah.
do something, there's clear instruction.
Mm.
But yeah, Jude is a super composed guy, man. Like, I don't know. I wish I was like him in 19. I wasn't, Well, Jude is truly a specimen. Lolo was saying, Brahim was good as a sub. He can help us a lot against low blocks. Oh yeah, I completely missed out on Brahim. Carlo does this to us, all of us. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like Brahim had that very neat. You know, what can you classify that as? It's not a nutmeg. It was more of a knock on that completely bamboozled those guys. A centre back. I forgot his name, but it was towards the end. I wished he took on that shot on himself and basically scored. Like we would be talking about that, but he decided to be unselfish and lay it off to Joselu. Joselu was basically in no man's land, and the ball was cut off. But yeah, like Brahim, he had some sort of an impact, but the game was done. Let's be honest. I wish Carlo gives him much more of a prominent role. There is a player in him. He might not be a world beater. He might not be fucking Riyad Mahrez, but Brahim has a neat little set of skills that's gonna give us a different strategy, just like Arda Güler. Um, right. Hassan said, yeah, I thought Brahim had a good cameo. If he scored after that little run, he would have won me over already. Yeah. Hassan is basically agreeing to me. Hassan also says they said PSG even banned them from the press conferences and the stadium because of what they're saying. Yeah, I've read all that, man. Honestly, PSG community seems like they know what they're talking about. I hope they have some truth to what they're blabbering about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Who was banned? Who? What? What
PSG
happened?
community, they are basically these media source news outlet for
Mm.
PSG, like Madrid Extra.
Yeah.
They're much more, I think, in the
And
know
they
than
leak
Madrid
stuff.
Extra.
I guess.
Yeah, they have some insider sources.
Yeah.
Madrid Extra is much more on the surface. PSG community, I think they have people inside the club who gives them
Mm.
info. Um, but I guess that's pretty much it, people. Anything else that you would like to address, Doris, quickly?
Not really. Not really. I think it's just the beginning of the season, and we're really gonna take this slowly, game by game. It isn't a regular season when we expect from every game something, but for this, at least for me, I'm expecting every game to for us to learn something and use everything that we've learned this season on next. Because I don't think anyone is really hopeful for this season, but I'm staying positive. Like anything can happen. We'll see.
I was also just like you early in the season, but my hopes have risen a bit, like a tiny, teeny bit, like maybe like 5%. My hopes for the season after this game, like if you go back into the group chat, I literally was saying after Ariba scored that we really can't have any hopes for the season. But after we kind of came back, that remontada, it gives me little bit more of an energy. Um,
The
oh, yeah.
For all of you that don't know him and don't speak to him in the group chat, he's the kind of guy that says that we're finished. Ah, guys, it's over. I cannot live like I'm never gonna watch another game. Blah, 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 blah. That's Sarai for you. So get ready for this. See it live happening every week on YouTube, Spotify. Check us out on everything.
That's basically you wishing we have a bad season, Doris. You can't be that sadistic, right?
Oh, you have no idea what I am.
I really don't want to know, but I'm just hoping that we have a good season, man. Honestly, we have to be
Yeah.
realistic about our opportunities to win silverware, but at least La Liga, man. Come on, at least La
Yeah.
Liga. Spain has a reputation for back-to-back wins by the same team. Let's keep it that way. You know, let's keep it that way. The last time it happened was in 2018, 2019. Only 4 years, but it doesn't happen very often like the Premier League or the Bundesliga or even Serie A. Um, let's
Yeah.
preserve some sort of you know Farouk. Farouk, so is saying so is trying so hard to convince himself about the turtle. Farouk, bro, I'm just being hopeful, man. Honestly, without the turtle, like our season's hopes are taking a heavy hit. I don't want that to happen. I love my club. I want the best for all these guys. Especially Tony Cruz and Modric, man. They might not be here next season, so I want them to go out with a bang. With some major silverware. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, people. Love for the love, honestly. For all of you guys who have stuck through the live stream, we had some technical hiccups in the beginning. I would like to extend my apologies for that. It wasn't something that we saw coming. Um, if you haven't subscribed to us on our audio platforms, please do follow us over there on Spotify. We are less than 200 away from 1,000 followers. We are also happy to announce that we are also available on Amazon Music. Recently, I set it up, I think, a couple of days ago. I didn't let you guys know. So if you wanna listen to us on the go on Amazon Music, we are also available over there. Apart from the rest, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., etc. Um, yeah, man. Also, big up every single one of you guys who have been sending in feedbacks regarding the content from the burn, about how they think that it's a breath of fresh air, and how they think that it's basically putting us on the map. We are really humbled by all of you guys' love. Please keep showing our reels, YouTube shorts, basically content from Madrid some love, man, because it's Sid and basically his friend doing it all by themselves, and it's not like us basically sitting over here and doing this shit over Zoom. Being out there, having to deal with annoying people who really wouldn't want to talk to the camera and shit like that, to convince them to speak up, it's a huge task. And it's not easy for Sid, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, show him some love, and do check out our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant fan page. They have been with us over this journey for 2 years now. So yeah, show them some love as well. We have some very exciting content coming in, throughout the season. This year is a truly special year for us. So yeah, man, keep showing us the love. And spoiler for next for the next episode outside the Barnabout, I think we're gonna be asking people about our striker situation. Hopefully, it'll be out maybe Wednesday or Thursday, tentatively. Um, we're going to be asking people about, yeah, like what they think our season is going to look like without a recognized striker. So beneath the video, but in the comment section, make sure that you get your opinions in as well. Hassan, all of you guys, man, lol, Tas Saliba, so that we can also engage with you guys over there. So it'll mean a lot for us, man. It'll mean a lot for us. It's the big next definitive step in our journey. So yeah, man. Again, super humbling by all the love. Yeah. Next week, hopefully we return. I think we are already at the summit. You know, last week it was Atleti who was number one. I think we are now top of the table, unless and until something drastic changes through goal difference. But we hope to remain right where we are. Aware the Balaidos next week is not going to be easy, but onwards and upwards. A la Madrid.
A la Madrid.